Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the new semester, and we will start the classes from today. I hope everyone is fine, everyone is doing well. And this semester also, we are having online classes, and I'm taking the classes from India, right? And I was hoping that I could go there this semester and meet you face to face, and we can have the class in classrooms. But I guess the situation is not fine till now that we can travel, international travels. Anyways, we will have the classes, and I expect that this will go on smoothly throughout the semester. We have done classes before last semester, right? Principle of animation, I think I have taught you guys. And this semester, I'm going to teach you the subject, which is concept of storyboarding, right? So there will be video lectures, and I will also take live classes. There will be a lot of things happening. This is a good subject. There are a lot of things to learn, and this subject will help you in your future subjects a lot, right? Whether you want to make an animation, whether you want to make a film, short film, or whatever. People who are interested in making animation or films, this subject is the basic, right? There are a lot of things to learn. We will have a lot of things to do in this class, in this semester. And I hope I can have all your help, because this won't be possible unless and until you help me, right? The way I will help you to learn things, you will also help me by cooperating with me, by listening to the video lectures, by attending the classes properly. And this will be a two-way process, right? And we had a very nice semester, I guess. Some of you were very happy, some of you were disappointed, but I think you have learned the principle of animations nicely last semester. And this semester, I also hope that you will also learn nicely. And if there is any problem, just reach out to me, and we will discuss the problems, we will talk about it, and we will solve it, right? So straight away, I'll go to the PPT presentation that I will share with you, and discuss about the subject details, what we are going to learn. And as this is the first class, I'm going to just give you an overview of what are the things we are learning, how is the marking process, how are the things, how is the exam process, and all those things, right? So I'll share the screen and stop my video and share the screen. Yes. I guess you can see the screen now. So this subject is concept of storyboarding. So I'll just give an introduction to the subject today, and what we are going to basically study for this subject. So this subject, concept of storyboarding, is majorly divided into three parts, okay? Story, script, and storyboard. So we have a total of 18 weeks classes, I guess, all right? So the story part, we will learn the first part, which is story, how to write story and all, that we will come a little later. That will approximately we will learn in 5 weeks. Script part we will learn in 5 weeks, and the storyboarding part we will learn in 5 weeks. So 15 weeks, and the remaining 3 weeks for we will have a exam, internal exam, the final test. We will have revisions, and we will have film screening, because this subject is majorly related to filmmaking, animation filmmaking, normal motion pictures filmmaking, short filmmaking, documentary filmmaking, etc. So unless and until you see a lot of films, you will not get an idea about the process of making the films, how we are making a film, what are the things that we need to do for making a film. So we will have some of the major, very important filmmaking, film screening during the class time, and I will explain to you how the film makers or the story writer or the script writer or the storyboard artists, they have actually done the film, right? So this is an approximate um, uh, this process of how we are going to have the course, right? It can change. We can have story in 4 weeks, script 4 or 5 weeks, storyboard 6 weeks, like that also we can have. But this is an approximate division, okay? Just keep this in mind that we will have 3 parts. And the first part is the story. Once we learn the story, we will learn the script. Once we learn the script, then the last part will come the storyboard. Okay, so part by part and step by step, we will do the learning. So this is a detail of the syllabus. The first part is the story, part 1. So in story, we will first learn how to generate an idea. Every single story is based on a particular idea, or which we call a concept, right? So the first part of the story is the idea and the concept, and how do we find it, how do we generate our ideas, and all those things. The second part is a one-liner. Okay, one-liner is basically the basic idea of a story in short. Okay, so that's the basic idea. When we are talking about the story, instead, if you have to tell me that story in a very few words or a very few lines, okay, that is called an one-liner. All right. So the story, for example, is Professor Anurag is taking classes for 19 batch students of GDUT. The subject is concept of storyboarding, and the classes is starting from 1st March 2021. And all these details will be in the story, but the one-liner is Professor Anurag is taking classes of concept of storyboarding of GDUT. Okay, this is the basic first one-liner of the story. The whole story consumed in one single line, right? Next comes the character details. Of course, the story will have some characters, right? So how do we make those characters? How many characters we do really need in a story? What are the major things we should think when we are making the characters, right? So all those character details. Location and time, very important, right? Where the story is taking place, okay? Which time, right? Some films you might have seen which talks about old time, right? Or which talks about the historical period, right? 500 years back, what happened, right? Some films you have seen which talks about the future, okay? Where what happens in 2050, for example, right? So what time it is happening, the story. So we have to decide that based on the plot or the main idea. Next comes a plot development. All right. All these details we will learn later. I'm just giving you a basic overview, right? What we are going to learn. So plot development is how the story is starting, how the story is ending, what is going to be inside the story. Okay, all those things, the detail of the story, you have to think and develop the plot. Plot means what happens in a story, right? So we first have the idea, the concept, then we have the basic one-liner. Okay, you have to be very clear about what you're going to write in the story. Okay, what your story is about. So that's the one-liner. Then you come to the details, which is the character details, location and time details. Then you come to the plot development, where you in detail divide the story into parts for the beginning and all those details, what happens in the beginning, what happens in the middle, what happens in the end, what happens to the characters, and all those things, right? Then comes act division. Okay. Act division is also dividing the story into different parts. For example, the beginning, okay, how you are beginning the story. Next, the middle, what happens in the major story in the middle. Then the end, which is called the climax, right? What happens at the end of the story, right? That way we divide a story into basic acts, which can be 3 acts minimum, beginning, middle, end, or which can have more acts. Okay, we will come to those details later, right? So we have the acts divisions. Then we come to the dialogue writing. Of course, the characters needs to speak, right? What they are saying, how the dialogues are used to be written. All right. Now, all those things needs to be done very, very properly, because when you are seeing a film, then you are understanding the whole film through dialogues, right? Or when you are reading a story, you are getting an understanding of the story or of whatever is happening in the story when the character is speaking to each other, right? So it's a very important part to play in the story writing, which is how to write the dialogues. Okay. And then finally, once you complete all these things, once you figure out all these things, right, then you write the final story. Okay. Then you prepare the final story. You might write it before part by part or some parts somewhere, right? But finally, when you get all these things together, then you finally write the final story. Okay. So this is what story writing is about. This is the first part of this subject. Okay. We will start with this and then we will move to the second part, which is script writing. Now, script writing is done for films when we are making films or animation films or documentaries. Okay, even advertisement commercials. Okay, we prepare a script, right? So that we will know what is the basic idea of script. Story you might have all read in your school times, or some of you might be very eager to, very interested to read stories, right? Script you might not be very much familiar with, how to do the script, how to write script. What do you mean by a script, right? You all might know that you need a script, but you might not know how, or how to do it. So we will learn the basic definition of script. Then we will do the act. We will know the act, scene, shots. This is how we divide the script, okay, into different acts, into different scenes, and into different camera shots, right? So then comes the key moment developments. All right, there are some key moments in the script which moves the stories forward. Okay, that we will learn how to where to put it exactly, in which part of the story we need to put the key moment, the major moment that moves the story forward. Right, these things you might not, as I'm saying this, you might not understanding. All right, but when we will study them in detail, you will then get it. Okay, now just an overview. Okay, then comes the change from story to script. You have written a story, then to make it into a proper film script or animation film script, that is a different process, right? That we will learn, okay? How to change this story to script. And what are the techniques of script writing? There is a particular technique, there's a particular format of script writing, and that we need to learn. All right. So the second part is the script. This comes after writing the story. See, here it's from story to script. That means it comes next to the story. You can't prepare a script first and then prepare the story, right? You have to prepare the story first. You have to know the story first. Then you can write the script. Okay. Then comes the storyboard, which is part 3. So storyboarding, what is storyboarding? We will learn how to change from a script to a storyboard. We will learn, all right? Then we will learn about the camera shots, camera angles, camera cuts. All those things, I guess, we have discussed in very brief. If you remember, in last semester, principle of animation, right? In staging, we have discussed camera shots, camera angles. I don't know whether you remember, but 5 camera shots we have learned, right? Extra long shot, medium shot, all those things we have learned. But here we will learn in much more details, even much more camera shots we will learn, but the camera angles we will learn, about different cuts we will learn, right? Then we will learn about composition and staging, okay? How to make the composition of each camera angles or each scene or each shot we need to know. Then we will do the character designs, okay? Even if for an animation film or even if for a motion picture film, we need to know about the character designs, how to design the character, how to make the character, right? How to make the character look, what are the costumes we are going to make the character wear, what will be the hairstyle, what will be the makeup, all those things we have to decide, okay? How will the character look? If you see a film, the villain character looks very different from the hero character, right? So we have to decide on that. All those things comes inside character designs. Then comes the location and background designs. What will be the background? Okay, all these things goes together mainly with, though it mainly goes with animation films, but it is also done for normal motion picture film, right? We have to decide the location, we have to decide the background for each shot or each scene, especially, okay? Then comes the drawing techniques, how to do the drawing, because storyboarding, you need to draw, whether you do it on pen and paper or whether you do it with digital mode, but you need to draw, right? So we will have the drawing techniques with expressions, okay, for each shot, each scene. Then how you are presenting it for a storyboard, there will be framing, right? Again, you might not understand all of this now, but later when we will go into the subject, then you will get an idea. And the last, the drawing panels of the storyboard, the final work that you're going to do, right? So again, these are the 3 parts of the syllabus, which comes first the story, then the script, then the storyboard, okay? You cannot do the storyboard first, then think about the story. It's not possible. You have to come step by step. First, you know how to write a story, then you know how to write a script, then you know how to write a storyboard, all right? So step by step, you're going to come. Now, what else you have to study, okay? Because that is what I'm going to teach you, all those things. Now, this is what you are going to do, okay? Read some interesting stories. If you are already in your reading habit, if you have a habit of reading stories, very good, okay? But even if you don't have, you need to read some interesting stories. It might be Chinese stories, it might be English stories, whatever, right? But read some interesting stories, short stories, okay? Stories from internet, different blogs. Even if you read, it's very good, right? Instagram stories, blogs, stories from books, novels, whatever you want, okay? Graphic novels, comics, whatever you want, but read some stories. Unless and until you read some stories, you will never get an idea how to write a story, right? Second is generating your own idea. So once you know how people actually think about a story, how they generate their own ideas, you can do it, right? Or else if I ask you to write your own idea, you will not find an idea. It's very difficult. And you have to generate your own idea, not an idea from somewhere else, your own idea, right? There are different ways and techniques of doing that we will discuss in your class, in the classes. But these are the things that you need to do. I cannot generate ideas for you. I cannot tell you, okay, work on this idea, right? You have to tell me your own ideas. Then I can help you to write a story on that, right? You'll see a lot of films, animations, short videos, documentaries, okay? because again, this subject is all about the filmmaking process. So you need to see a lot of films, how the films are made, think about it, okay? And animations, short videos, documentaries, whatever you find, okay? Understand the process of pre-production in filmmaking. So whatever we are doing now, it's called pre-production, okay? The filmmaking, when you are making a film, that is also divided into three parts. First, pre-production. Second, production. Third, post-production. Okay, again, pre-production, the first part. Second, production part. Third, post-production. Okay, so in the first part, we prepare everything before shooting the main film. Okay, so the director, story writer, script writer, music director, the director of photography, everyone, the producer, everyone sits together and they prepare the script, they prepare the storyboard, they prepare the story, they prepare the dialogues, who will be playing, who are the characters, okay, where the film is going to be shot, the locations, okay, all these things they prepare, right? Once they do it, once they make those schedule and everything, then they start the film shooting, which is called the production stage, all right? Once they finish the whole shooting part, then they go into editing, adding VFX and all those things, which is the post-production. Got it? So the whole process of filmmaking is divided into this way. First, the pre-production, where every single things are done before shooting the main film. And the shooting the main film is called the production stage. And once all the shootings are done, which is maybe a span of 20 days, 30 days, right? After that, post-production is done, which is editing the film, adding the background music, dubbing the dialogues, okay, adding the VFX, right, and making the final cut of the film, right? All those things are post-production, right? Now, what this subject is about, the pre-production. We are writing the story, we are writing the script, we are deciding on the dialogues, we are deciding on the characters, then we are making the storyboard, making the whole thing ready. Once you have the storyboard, the director, the cameraman, everyone has a storyboard final, they goes for the shooting, okay? Or for animation, they goes for the animation studios to make the animation film, right? So this is what we are going to do this syllabus or the subject in this, we are going to learn. So understand this process, okay? If you know someone who have already made any animation, your seniors, they have already learned some animation films, right? How to do it. You talk with them, okay? Or if you have any friends who makes films or who makes short films or who made some animation films, you talk with them. You know the process. You try to understand the process, okay? That's how you have made it, how you have written the story, how you have written the script, okay? Ask them if they can share this storyboard with you, okay? If they can show the storyboard, all right? So if you know someone, talk with them, okay? Group work is very, very important. We are going to do some group work, okay? And it's very important, all right? Because film, in a film making industry, you have a people of total maybe more than 100 people working together. One person or two-person cannot make a film. It's very, very difficult, right? Because you have so many things to do. And for a major film, you have separate people doing separate things. It's everyone knows how to do a lot of things, but still there, a script writer only writes scripts. Okay, a director sees overall everything, but a cameraman only handles the camera. The editor only do the editing, right? So it's all a group work. Everyone should come together and make a film. So even in this subject, even in this class also, sometimes I will ask you to do group works. You have to make a group of 5 people, right? Or 6 people together, and you will sit together, you will talk among yourselves, you will decide on a story or you will decide on a script and you will work. Okay. So you group work is very important and you have to work together, right? Do not steal ideas from anywhere. Do not do it. You will, I may not find out, right? Because there are so many stories, so many films. I may not seen it, I may have not seen it or whatever. But what is the point? You are well capable of writing your own stories, writing your own ideas. You are well capable of doing that. So do not steal any ideas from anywhere. It's not a point. And if I find out, you will face problems, right? So do not steal ideas. Get inspired. Okay, if you read a story, you might find that okay, I'm very much I might write a story like this. Okay, change something, okay, and write it. Change the 70% of it, 30% you take from there and write the story, a new story. Okay, that is fine, but do not just copy an idea from anywhere. That's not good. Okay, so this all you have to do. Okay, so get ready for it. I will make you study. I will teach you a lot of things, but you have to do all these things. You have to see a lot of films. You have to read a lot of stories. You have to think about new ideas. You have to understand the process of filmmaking, right? You have to talk with people who have already in this business, who have already done some films. Okay. You have to maintain good relation with your classmates so that you can work together. Okay, you have to stop yourself from stealing ideas from anywhere. Okay, so these are all you have to do. What you need for this course, you just need a notebook, okay, to write stories and script. I guess I hope all of you should have a book, I mean notebook, okay, or writing pad or something. Do not write in A4 sheet paper and lose the paper, you know. Get a notebook, write all the stories, your ideas, your script, everything in that notebook. Okay, whatever size, doesn't matter. For the drawing thing, I hope you can get an A4 size sketch pad. Okay, A4 size, not smaller than that, bigger than that you can get also. But minimum size is A4 size sketch pad for drawing storyboard. But this drawing thing will come later. Okay, so it's not required now. It will be required after 1 or 2 months, not now. Okay, but the notebook you need from the first class, from the first you need the notebook. Okay, pen, pencil, of course. And I want all of your imagination and creativity. All of you can imagine, and you have nice minds and brains, I know that. So I want your imagination and creativity, to produce nice ideas, very interesting ideas, to do your works properly. Okay. So all these things you need for this course to go on properly. Okay. So get a notebook and sketch pad. You can buy now or you can buy later. Okay. Get a pen, pencil, whatever. All right. So this is the exam system. We will have an internal exam, which is 40 marks. We have it around 11th week. I'm not sure whether it will be on 11th week, but it may be on 10th week or 12th week, like that. Okay, because why I'm giving this from the beginning is because I want all of you to make yourself available during this time. Okay, mostly 90% we will have it on 11th week. So check your calendars and make yourself available on 11th week. Because if someone is not attending the internal exam, all right, that person will be marked absent. Unless and until you have a medical emergency or an extreme emergency, okay, or a medical emergency, and your school office is informing me that this person cannot attend the exam because of so and so reason, whatever day the exam will be, all of you should be present. Okay, make this thing clear. So check your calendars. Do not plan anything on the 11th week that you might be absent or something. Okay, mostly it will have happen on 11th week, but maybe on 10th week or 12th. All right. So that this is why I have mentioned the week. Okay, so that later you won't face any problem. I will not have another retest for people who are absent unless and until there is a medical emergency for anyone. So the internal exam will be 40 marks and the external exam will be 60 marks, which will be on the last week. 60 internal, external exam, final exam, this will be on the last week, okay, on the 18th week. So we will have some class assignments, or I will give you some exercises to do. All those things will be a part of the internal exam. Okay, there will be no weekly assignments. Sometimes I will give it, sometimes I will ask you to do something, but there is no assignment 1, assignment 2, assignment 3, nothing like that. Okay, everything, whatever in the weeks I will give you, each will be considered in the internal exam, right? So 40 and 60 marks, in that way it will be divided. So keep that thing in your mind. Any other rules you have to follow is please don't come late in the class. Okay, come at time. All right. Class monitors will be responsible for this. Okay, because I am not there. Class monitors, please inform your students in the class to come at time, because I will start the class in proper time. If you're coming 10 minutes late, you will miss something. Okay, and I can't repeat it. Some parts of this class will be video recording, so I won't be able to repeat it, right? So come to the class at time, and the class monitor is responsible for this. Okay, if you're absent for any classes for any reason, you have to learn the topic, because I can't repeat the topic again. So if you have missed something, make sure you take the notes from your classmates, you see the recorded video again one more time, and you have to learn the topic. Okay, if you have any doubts, if you have any question, you can ask me, of course, but I will not be able to repeat it, right? So group discussion and group works will be there, and everyone have to participate, like I said. Okay, you cannot say, sir, I don't have any friends, so I will work alone. No, you have to make your friends. And I guess all of you have a good relation with each other. So there will be group works and everyone have to participate. All right. Maybe group discussions or group works, maybe I will divide the groups into 5 people or 6 people or maybe 10 people. Okay. Because you have to learn how to work in groups. Okay. If you have any doubt, ask in the class. Don't complain later that professor is not clearing our doubts. Whatever my experience is that you guys don't ask much doubts. So after the video recording in the live class, please ask any question that comes to your mind. All right. Whatever your question is, you ask in the class. Even do not ask through messages. Okay. Don't do it. Try to avoid it. Okay. Whatever we will, you have the questions, we will have enough time to discuss your questions. And in the live class, this is a video recording, right? But in the live class, I will ask you to ask questions. I will tell you to ask questions. So that time, do not keep quiet if you have any questions. Whatever it is your question, guys, you can ask me. Okay. And please, all of you, maintain proper behavior with the teacher. All right. Proper behavior within yourself and with me. For any reason, if you are upset, if you are angry, if you are not satisfied with my teaching or something, tell me politely, explain me the problem. I will rectify it. Okay, if I have the problem, I will make sure that I will change it. Okay, but if you show bad behavior with me, I will also show bad behavior with you. All right, so keep these things, keep these rules in your mind. All right. So this is the basic overview of the subject. Okay, the exam system, the what you need for the course, what are the necessary things that you need for this semester, for this course. Okay, notebook you need from this class or the next class, at least if you don't have it now, but at least from the next class you should have one single notebook to write your stories and script. Okay, get a big notebook because you will have a lot of things to write. Then these are the things that you need to study by your own. Okay, read some stories, start reading stories, start seeing films, animations, etc. Okay, talk with people who have already done some things if you know them. Okay, uh, get ready to work in groups and do not steal any ideas from anywhere. All right. So this is the third part of the syllabus, storyboard. These are the things we are going to learn in the storyboard, starting from the definition, from script to storyboard, camera shots, composition, character design, location and background designs, expression drawings. So this storyboard is all about drawing, right? So this time you will need that sketchbook, okay? So there will be a lot of drawings to be done in this storyboard part. Okay, this we will do in the last part. Then we will learn about the script. Before this, we will learn about the script, right? What is a script? What are the scene, shot, acts, etc. How do we write a script? Okay, and we will start the subjects by learning the story. Okay, so idea and concept, one-liner, character details, location and time, plot development, act divisions, dialogue writing, and finally writing the story. This we are going to start the subjects with. So this is the three major parts how the course is divided: story, script, and storyboard. Okay, so 5 weeks each is the approx time, and the remaining time we will have the internal exam, final exam. We will have some revisions, and we will have some film screening. Okay, so this is the overview. And now we will start after a short break. We will start with the first part, just 2-3 minutes break. Okay, and we will start with the first part. Okay, so we will start with the first part, which is a story, and we will just give an overview of the story. So, what is a story, basically? A story is, you can, so first before going into the detail of the story, let us discuss what we are going to learn in a little more detail. So first we are going to do the developing the idea, right? So you can get an idea or concept of a story from any book, film, or even your real life events. Okay, if something interesting have happened in your life, in your college days, in your school days, whatever, you can make a story out of it. So an idea can come from anywhere. It can come from reading a book, it can come from seeing a film, it can come from when you look around you, in your in your surroundings. You have seen, you have heard a story of someone doing something very funny or something very interesting. So that can be your idea for writing a story. Okay, your real life events is a big place to generate or to give you an idea. Next is a one-liner, right? It is basically writing the basic plot of the story in very short 1 or 2 lines. Okay, so for example, I guess all of you have seen Avengers Endgame. So it's a 3 hours film, but the one-liner of the film is, after Thanos wiped out half of the world population with the Infinity Stones, the remaining Avengers fight back and defeated Thanos and brought back everyone. This is the single idea. This is the idea of the film in a single line, right? So this is a one-liner of the whole film. Okay, so this is what I meant by a one-liner. A one-liner not necessarily is a one single line. It can be 2 lines, but very short, 1 or 2 lines, just writing the basic plot of the story, right? So Avengers Endgame, it happened after Thanos wiped out half of the world population, right? In the first part of, I think, Avengers Infinity Stone. The next part here, he did all those things, and Avengers, the remaining Avengers fought back and all those things. A lot of detailed thing happened, but this is a basic story. Okay, so this is how you develop the one line. Think about the characters in the story. There might be just one character or hundreds of characters. Okay, it all depends on how or what story you are writing, right? So next part, the last part is the creating the narrative structure of the story. So we are going to discuss about how to do the narrative structure, what you call a narrative structure, etc. Okay, so these are the steps in which we create or make a story or write a story. So a story is basically, the definition of the story is a narrative. Okay, a story or tale is an account of a series of related events or experiences, whether non-fictional or fictional. So fictional means that you are imagining. Okay, non-fictional means that has happened really. Okay, so if you're going to write about a story about this COVID-19, this is a non-fictional story. If you're going to write about Superman, that's a fictional story, right? So non-fictional is real, fictional is imaginary. So when you are writing an account of a series of related events or experiences, one after the another, a series of related events or experiences, when you are writing about it, it is a story or a tale or a narrative. Same thing. What do you mean by a story? You mean by a narrative or even a tale. Some people use the word tale, right? So story, narrative, or tale is an account when you are writing a series. So first this thing happened. First X went to meet Y. Then X and Y went out of the home to go to the shop. Then these two people met Z. Then all of them sit together to have coffee. Then Z left and X and Y came home, right? So this is a story. This is all the events, step by step, it happened, one after the other, right? So this is a story. A story can be presented through a sequence of writing or spoken words, still or moving images, or any combination of this, right? It can be written, it can be a film, it can be animation, it can be series of photography, okay, which is called the stop motion animation, anything, okay, any which ways. You can tell me a story, right? Without writing, you can tell a story. So whatever, okay? Or in combination, you have written a story, then you speak it in a way, right? So a story can be an account of incidents or events, a statement regarding facts related to a situation in question, okay? A fictional narrative shorter than a novel. Novel is a bigger story, which is, so a fictional narrative shorter than a novel. Novel is called short story, okay? It can be a very short story, okay? Or it can be a plot of a narrative or dramatic work, okay? So anything basically can be a story when it comes about one event after another, okay? A student of GDUT has gone out of his home. That's it. This cannot be a story, okay? What happens after he has left his home? What happens when he is boarding the bus? What happens when he is reaching the college? What happens when he is meeting his friends? All these, when you are writing or telling, this becomes a story. Okay. So even in a one-liner, in the last this one, when I have written the one-liner that after Thanos wiped out half of the world population, this is a one-liner, one single line, but still this is a story, right? The remaining Avengers fight back. So I have mentioned what are the events that have happened, one after another. Few events that have happened, I have mentioned, right? So when you are mentioning what event is happening one after another, you are making a story. Okay. So again, I repeat, a story is a narrative or is an account of series. Series means when 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this is a series, right? Of related events or experiences. So each should be related to each other. The next part should be related to the first part, right? And it can be either non-fictional, which is, it can be either real incident, or fictional, which is imaginative incident. Okay, a story can be presented through a series, a sequence of written or unspoken words. Okay, you can write it, you can speak it. It can be moving images, which are basically films, right? In a film, you see a story. In books, you read a story. In films, you see a story. When you hear to a radio person speaking about a story, right? Or any combination of this. So it can be an account of events. It can be related to a real situation. It can be a very short story. Okay. It can be a dramatic presentation or a narrative. All right. So this is the basic definition of a story. Now, once you have understood the definition, let's see what elements a story contains. What are the things a story contains? The first thing it contains is the characters. Okay, because a story cannot move without a character. It can be about one person, it can be hundreds of characters, doesn't matter. Okay, so a character is whom the story is about or who is telling the story. So you can be telling the story in first person, means I woke up in today morning, then I went to the college, then I met a person over there, we were talking something, then I came back to my home, then I had my lunch. All this can be I am narrating the story, okay? Or you can tell a story about someone, okay? John went to the, for example, went to the college in the bus. In the bus, he met a girl. Okay, the girl talked with him. So you are speaking about a third person, about John, right? Or you can say like me and John, we were traveling today and met a girl. So you are including to yourself in the story along with another character, right? And there might be 1,000 characters over there, right? So it's all about characters. When you get an idea first about a story, you think of the characters. what the characters will do, how the character is about, how the character looks, how the character talks, all these things. Okay, we will do the character design. We will learn about characters, how to make them, what are the characters we need in a story, etc. Okay, but these are the essential elements. These are the major elements that has to be in a particular story. Next is settings, location of a action, where it is happening, what is the environment or what is the surroundings. Okay, so the setting of the story is called the setting. Okay, whether it is happening outdoor, whether it is happening outside a home, whether it is happening inside a room, in which country, in which place. Okay, and all those things. So where majorly when you are reading a story, it mentions in the beginning part only that this is happening here. Okay, this story is happening in Beijing, or the story is happening in India, or whatever. Okay, so the place is mentioned, right? The story, the character is inside the home or outside in the street. So you immediately know where the character is, right? Next comes the plot, which is the actual story. Okay, the plot is the whole story about what is happening in the story. So it has a beginning, middle, and end with necessary descriptions. That is what a plot is about. The story begins, there is a middle part, and there is an end part. All right. Next comes conflict. Okay, conflict means every story has a conflict to solve, a problem. There is a particular problem which we need to solve in a story. Okay, so there is a conflict in the story. The plot is centered around this conflict, and the characters attempt to solve the problem at the end of the story in the climax. Okay, so there is a particular problem in the story or particular issue in the story, and the character is trying to solve it. Okay, trying to solve the problems, and it happens in the end part. Okay, so beginning part, there is a character, there is a people, and the audience or the readers gets to know what the problem is or what the conflict is or what the character is basically doing. Why you were writing that story? There is some issue, there is some problem, there is some thing to tell. Okay, you are going in the college, that won't be a good story. What is happening when you went to the college? That can be a very good story. And that can be a better story when you are actually mentioning that there is a problem happened, or there is a very interesting thing that has happened, right? Then how you come out of that situation, how you deal with that situation, what are the other people were telling you, how you did it, how, what are the things that you did it. All these things people will be very interested to read, right? So there should be this interesting part, which is the conflict. So we will read the story that you have gone there, you have faced the problem, you have solved the problem. So at the end of the story, we will get to know that you have solved this problem, or you have done this, you have gone through this situation in this way, right? So this is the conflict, okay? And the final part, which is the resolution. Resolution is a solution to the conflict, and then when the character stories ends after the solution. So once you have gone out of that conflict, what you are doing, okay? And we will learn about each of this in details later. Now, these are the major things that is included in a story: characters, settings, plot, conflict, resolution. The story is about the characters, where the story is taking place, that is the setting, plot, what is the story about, actual story, okay, having a beginning, middle, and end, okay. Conflict, every story has a conflict to solve. So there is some problem or conflict or basic event happening in a story, right? Next comes, once the character is solving the problem, what is happening to the characters, okay? The story ends, all right? We will learn about each of this in details later. Next is type of narrative. What are the different types of narratives or story? Okay, I have mentioned narrative because we generally use this term. Narratives has the same meaning as story. Story and narrative means the same. Okay, so we have basic 4 types of narratives. We will learn about 4 types of narratives. Okay, there might be more of it, but that much detail is not needed now. Later we can talk about it. First is a linear narrative. A linear narrative is presenting the events of the story in order in which they actually happened. Okay, so they can be accomplished through any narrative perspective, be it first person, second person, third person. That means, for example, the story is you have I have got up in the morning, I had my breakfast, then I took my car to the university. Okay, I had a meeting over there. After the meeting, we came out, we had lunch, and then we visited a place. We were there roaming for half an hour. Okay, it was a shop. Then I met a person, I talked with that person, and while coming, I had to get some stuffs. I came to a shop, I took some stuffs, then I came back home. This is a linear narrative. I told you the story, how it happened in a proper sequence. Got it? So from the beginning till the end of the story, the things happened in a line, in a single line. Part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, one by one, how it happened, I told you. Okay, this is a linear narrative. Okay. Next comes a non-linear narrative. Non-linear narrative is presenting the events of the story out of order. Okay. For example, I am telling, the story is starting that when I came back in the evening to my home, I was telling my wife about whatever things had happened the whole day. Okay, that I went to the college, I had some things over there, and that person came to my home. Okay, suddenly the person whom I met in the morning came to my home now. Oh, I was talking with that person now. Okay, so all these things, when I am not telling you the events, how it happened, but sometimes I'm telling in flashbacks. Okay, sometimes other literary devices. So the chronology means one by one. Okay, 2020 comes before 2021. This is a chronology. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is a chronology, one after one another. Okay, so if I say part 5 first, then part 4, then part 8, okay, connecting everything, but not in a proper chronology, okay, not one after the another, that is called non-linear narrative. Okay, it will be much more clear when we will read them, each of them in detail. Okay, third part is the quest narrative. Quest narrative is a character is doing something. From the beginning of the story, the character is towards solving a problem or towards moving towards a goal. Okay, that the character has to solve a problem today. I went out today with my car to the to a city nearby, and I was traveling, and the car broke off, and I was going. I had to go over there, so I took the car to a mechanic. So I am moving towards a particular goal. Okay, I have to achieve that goal, and the whole story is about that. Okay, again, this will be clear much more when we will learn this in detail. The last part is viewpoint narrative. Viewpoint narrative is designed to express the points of view or subjective personal experience of the main character or other fictional characters in the story. Okay, what I have to feel about it, what another character is feeling about it. Okay, what third character is feeling about it. Yeah, we were all sitting, the four of us were sitting together for a dinner, and character X was not feeling good about the food. He was feeling the food is not very much tasty. But character Y was feeling good. He was enjoying the food. Okay. I and character Z, we were having a middle mind that, okay, the food is good, but we can have better options. Okay. So when we are talking about each of the characters' mindset very, very specifically, very, very particularly, what if there is a four characters in a scene, each four characters are telling their own story. It is viewpoint narrative. So again, all of this will be clear when we will discuss about this in detail. All right. But basically, there are four types of narrative: linear narrative, right? Non-linear narrative, quest narrative, and viewpoint narrative. Linear narrative is presenting the story as it is in order. Okay, so first something have happened, second something happened. How it happened, the story is written in that way. Non-linear narrative is how the story happened in a way, but you are telling the story in a different way. Sometimes you are telling what happened later. You are telling in a story in flashback. Okay, you are telling the story in the past tense. For example, today morning this thing happened. What happened? This. So this is a story in a non-linear narrative. Okay, quest narrative, where the major character is moving, is towards from the beginning to the end. He is going to solve a problem. This problem is the conflict that I have said over in the before slides. Conflict in quest narrative, the conflict is given at the beginning. Linear narrative, the conflict comes later. Okay, not in the beginning. In the middle part, the conflict is coming. Non-linear narrative, the conflict can come anywhere, later, before, anything. Quest narrative, the conflict comes at the beginning. So everyone knows about the conflict at the beginning. What is the problem at the beginning? And the main character, which is called the protagonist, okay, remember this term. It is very important. Remember this term. It is called the protagonist or the main character. So the main character is moving towards solving the problem. Okay. Viewpoint narrative is where there are few characters and each of the characters' ideas, expressions, moods is written in a proper way. Okay. So the major character or each characters are talking about their own viewpoint, own feelings. Okay. Much like a point of view. So these are the four major types of narratives of a story. There are some more also, but now we are not going to learn them in detail. In detail, we are going to learn this major four. If later we have time, we can discuss about some other things, and there can be many others. How you are going to write the story is very important. Okay, but generally, linear narrative is the most common format. Okay, non-linear narrative is very, very interesting. Okay, there are a lot of films which are in non-linear storytelling. Okay, quest narrative are very exciting. All right, these are very exciting films. Sometimes we see, okay, which are quest narratives or stories. When we read, these are adventurous. Okay, viewpoint narratives are generally emotional story. Okay, where we get to know about each character's emotion. They have much more dialogues, they have much more expression written and all these things. Okay, so for each part we will have detailed discussions. We will have exercises to write the stories in each of this. How to write a story in linear narrative, non-linear narrative, quest narrative, viewpoint narrative. We will see some animation films or videos or even motion picture films, okay, where we will know about the films that is done in linear narrative, films that is done in non-linear narrative, all right. and then things will be much more clear. So this was just an overview of the whole story part, at least. In the after this video, and I will stop the video now. We will have a 10 minutes break, and then I will be coming for the live class, right? And then you can have your questions, you can have your doubts, and I will again I will answer your questions, right? In the next video, we will be discussing about detail in linear narrative. We will start the discussion in linear narrative. And in the live class now, we will have again a discussion about all these things, or any questions you have, please put in forward. I will be trying to answering them and making your doubts clear. All right. So have a 10 minutes break now, and we will come back for the live class.